Meghan Markle felt humiliated on Prince Harry's most recent UK trip, and that the trip turned into a nightmare, forcing Markle and her children to return home to California earlier than they had hoped.
Meghan Markle and her children reportedly returned to California much sooner than they had originally expected. According to Tom Bauer, he believes he knows the real reason behind Meghan Markle's reported 47-minute visit to Highgrove. In his version of events, that explanation also reveals why the entire meeting is said to have ended on such an awkward and uncomfortable note. What Meghan may have expected to be a warm and meaningful family reunion, instead, reportedly turned into a short, tightly controlled visit with firm boundaries that were clearly in place from beginning to end.
I think that when you're mocked so publicly as they've been, their value begins to nosedive pretty quickly. And I don't think they're finding any more sources of income. And with the stream of money they're spending on security, on mortgages, on just plain living, I think they can see the end of the road within 5 years at best. And they've got a real financial problem.
Bauer has also shared a serious warning for King Charles, and we will break down his concerns as the story unfolds. Bauer is regarded as one of the most recognized royal biographers and commentators, known for closely following Prince Harry, Meghan, and their complicated relationship with the royal family. Throughout the years, he has consistently offered his perspective on the ongoing family conflict, and his latest comments have attracted even greater attention. According to Bauer, Harry and Meghan returned to the United Kingdom with one clear purpose. In his opinion, they were hoping to repair the damage created by previous disputes and begin restoring their relationship with the royal family.
And Harry's crisis, completely of their own making, is they have no major projects, no major money earners. And so they're more desperate than ever. And I think that they don't know what to do other than to try and come back to Britain and rebuild themselves as some sort of members of the royal family.
Tom Bauer has also delivered a serious warning to King Charles, and we will explain exactly what he said as we continue. Bauer is widely recognized as one of the most well-known royal biographers and commentators, especially for his coverage of Prince Harry, Meghan, and their complicated relationship with the royal family. Over the years, he has repeatedly shared his opinions on the ongoing family tensions, and his latest remarks have generated even more public attention. According to Bauer, Harry and Meghan returned to the United Kingdom with one clear objective. In his opinion, they hope to repair the damage left behind by past conflicts and begin rebuilding their relationship with the royal family once again. Bauer believes that King Charles may still have a small amount of sympathy for Harry despite everything that has happened. From this perspective, Harry and Meghan needed a way to reconnect that would feel genuine, instead of appearing like an obvious attempt to return to royal life. According to Bauer, the Invictus Games gave them exactly that opportunity. Because Harry has continued to play a major role in the event, it provided him with a credible reason to travel back to the United Kingdom while also opening the door to the possibility of rebuilding family ties.
I think that's what the Invictus Games, which is this very splendid competition for wounded servicemen, is going to start in Birmingham next year, but there's a rehearsal later in the summer. And Harry is determined to come, and if he could, he'd bring Meghan and somehow work his way back in so that they have status. My feeling is that the king might be slightly sympathetic.
Reports have claimed that King Charles, who still cares deeply for his son, agreed to meet with Harry and even offered him a place to stay at Buckingham Palace. However, Harry reportedly did not accept the offer right away, and later reports suggested that the invitation was eventually withdrawn. As the situation continued to develop, Bauer says King Charles began noticing what he believed was part of a much bigger pattern. According to Bauer, the king came to the conclusion that Harry and Meghan wanted to restore their connection with the royal family because that association still held tremendous public value, lasting credibility, and a level of influence that remained difficult to match.
The invitation for Prince Harry to stay at Buckingham Palace has been withdrawn. He's coming to Britain today.
After much speculation, a Duke of Sussex spokesperson confirmed the offer, as Andrew says, has been withdrawn.
According to Bauer, that belief is exactly what lies behind his warning to King Charles. In his view, Harry sometimes seems to overlook the fact that his father is not just his parent, but also the king, Charles has spent decades navigating public life and understanding how it works. From Bauer's perspective, very little happens without the king becoming aware of it. Reports surrounding Hollywood business deals, Meghan's lifestyle brand, and Harry's charitable work had already become part of the wider public conversation long before these recent developments.
I think the king right now, his best bet would be to distance himself completely, make it clear to Harry that the Sussexes are not welcome at all in Britain.
Even with everything that had happened, the Highgrove meeting had already been scheduled. Calling it off at the last minute could have triggered even more media attention and a fresh wave of public speculation. Instead, Bauer believes King Charles decided on a different course of action. Rather than refusing to meet, he reportedly allowed the visit to take place, but only under carefully controlled arrangements with firm limits established from the very beginning. According to Bauer, the king had no desire to repeat what he considered to be earlier mistakes by allowing expectations to remain uncertain. He says the atmosphere surrounding the Highgrove meeting was completely different from past encounters. Every detail was reportedly planned to keep the visit private, short, well-organized, and closely supervised. From Bauer's point of view, Meghan may have expected a much warmer welcome after spending several years away from the United Kingdom.
Chundalka denounces Harry as a racist and a bully, and that was, obviously for Harry, absolute disaster. He left the charity soon after, and the charity still survives, but obviously his reputation...
Instead, the meeting reportedly felt much more formal than emotional. Rather than looking like a happy family reunion, it came across as a careful and reserved conversation between relatives whose relationship had grown increasingly distant over the years. Bauer believes this sent a very clear message. In his view, although Harry and Meghan may want to rebuild their relationship with the royal family, there is no automatic route back to becoming working royals. He argues that the time when royal connections could easily enhance public image or create commercial advantages has now come to an end. According to Bauer, the meeting achieved two important goals. First, it reinforced the idea that Harry and Meghan were not returning as working members of the royal family. Second, he believes it helped protect King Charles's public image. Following reports about Harry's request for accommodation and the continuing debate over his security arrangements, Bauer argues there was concern that the situation could later be portrayed as proof that the king did not want Harry or his children to spend time in the United Kingdom. As Bauer points out, Harry and Meghan did make the trip to the UK, but the circumstances surrounding that visit told a very different story than many may have expected.
I think gradually the king has become much, more respected than he might have been. Mm-hmm. And he is in fact highly respected now, as is the Queen. And they had to fight hard to get to that. So I think the sympathy at the moment is all in their favour. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to let all their hard work. And you've got to remember, and they're not going to cause an argument with William and Kate, who have absolutely no intention of in any way allowing the rehabilitation of the Sussexes here. So I think it's the royal family versus the Sussexes. And today...
Allowing a brief meeting under carefully controlled conditions. Bauer believes King Charles lowered the risk of that public narrative taking hold, while still maintaining firm boundaries throughout the visit. According to Tom Bauer, the king recognized that possibility and wanted to prevent those claims from gaining further momentum by giving Harry and Meghan the opportunity to visit Highgrove for a private family meeting. In Bauer's view, this showed that Charles was not completely closing the door on his son. Instead, he believes the real issue was the breakdown of trust after years of public disputes, personal conflicts, and the choices Harry and Meghan had made over time.
They went on this trip to the UK. There was a bit of will they, won't they? Harry goes by himself, and then suddenly Meghan Markle with the kids in they trot as well. But there have been some reports that the family reunion that they had with the King and the Queen may have not gone as planned for Meghan. There are some suggestions that it probably wasn't warm and fuzzy. I can't imagine.
Bauer also believes there was another reason why the Highgrove meeting reportedly felt so awkward, and that was the presence of Queen Camilla. According to reports, her attendance was no coincidence. Having witnessed many of the events that contributed to the growing divide between Harry and the royal family, she was already familiar with the history behind those tensions. Her presence also meant there was another trusted member of the family in the room who could confirm exactly what was said if any questions were raised afterward. In that sense, she could be seen as an important witness to the conversation. For many royal observers, this suggested that King Charles was approaching the meeting with far greater caution than in the past, and wanted every part of the discussion to be handled with complete clarity and without any uncertainty.
Problem is that they've got no future. I mean, as ever, all her products, of course, is a complete disaster. She's got no Netflix series. She hasn't got any project at all. And they are literally wallowing in in a maze where to go. It's and so predictably. And so that is the problem. And for them to come back in the midst of the current royal crisis here.
According to Bauer, that degree of caution showed just how much trust had changed over the years. When the meeting finally ended, reports claimed that Meghan was hoping for some indication that everything had gone positively. However, those same reports say that moment never arrived. There was no official photograph, no public display of reconciliation, and no image that could be used as evidence of a major breakthrough. The palace reportedly made a deliberate effort to avoid any photo opportunities that might later be interpreted as a sign that Harry and Meghan had regained their previous position within the royal family. Bauer also argues that neither side offered an apology, and more importantly, there was no move to restore Harry and Meghan to their former roles as working members of the royal family.
Harry would be able to say, my dad's left me out in the cold. You know, here's my dad not protecting me with security again. I guess my dad doesn't want to see his grandchildren, because that is what I was concerned about. And I think I even said to you, could this all be a scheme, a setup to blackmail the king into showing up at Birmingham next year, which you've said yourself was the ultimate goal for Prince Harry, to have that royal presence.
In Bauer's opinion, King Charles was not willing to ignore years of public criticism and family disagreements by simply bringing back royal privileges. According to his account, once it became clear that rebuilding their royal connection would not happen anytime soon, Harry and Meghan reportedly shifted more of their attention toward maintaining family ties through their children. Some critics believe this approach could lead to a more sympathetic response from the king, although that remains a matter of personal opinion rather than established fact. Reports suggest that King Charles wanted to continue having a relationship with his grandchildren, while also ensuring they would not become a pathway for Harry and Meghan to return to official royal duties. Bauer says the king's main priority was protecting the future of the monarchy and avoiding anything that might be viewed as a major public relations success for the Sussexes. He also believes Charles understood that a warm public reunion could create uncertainty about the monarchy's future and Prince William's position as the next king. For that reason, the Highgrove meeting reportedly remained private, tightly organized, and limited in both its length and purpose. In the end, according to Bauer's version of events, Harry and Meghan were granted only a private family meeting. Reports indicate there was no agreement over security arrangements, no stay at Buckingham Palace, no public appearance alongside King Charles, and no indication that their previous royal status would be restored. If Bauer's account is correct, the outcome turned out to be very different from what many people had expected. After the meeting ended just 47 minutes later, reports suggested there had been no major progress regarding Harry's future visits to the United Kingdom or the ongoing issue of his security. Meghan reportedly left Highgrove with the children and returned to Montecito, while Harry remained in the United Kingdom to continue preparing for the Invictus Games. That is the complete story of the reported 47-minute Highgrove meeting, according to Tom Bauer. Now we would like to hear your thoughts. What do you believe really happened behind those closed doors? Do you agree with Bauer's perspective, or do you see the situation differently? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
William and Kate and the King and Queen rebuild trust and respect. And the quicker the Sussexes leave Britain, the better. The question is only whether they go quietly and stay quiet, or whether they scream to earn a bit more money at the royal family's expense. That is the untold